Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the Northeast Ohio Sports Show. This is episode 33. It is currently November 13th, 2025. Hope everyone's having a great week. One more day to Friday. I've been a little sick this week, but feeling better now. So that's good to see. And my throat's not too bad or nothing, so should be all clear there. Let me make sure my mic's all clear. We have scores for sports above us and also the results for F1 last weekend. Next weekend's the next F1 race, so we'll be talking about that next week and a little bit this week. We'll be going to our first topic, a funny topic, which will be about words between Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen and Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield. Now, this wasn't your typical pregame tension or bulletin board material. This was straight up comedy hour. Ahead of the matchup, Mayfield decided to have some fun at Allen's expense. He joked that Allen is too tall. He might need a walkie-talkie just to talk to him on the field. Baker, who's about 6'1", and Allen 6'5". Frame makes him feel like he's chatting with a baseball player instead of a fellow QB. Sorry, basketball player, than a fellow QB. And this when he thought Baker was done, he doubled down, throwing a jab at Allen's hands. He's tall, Baker said, but for some reason those hands look small. It was pure locker room humor, and even Josh Allen couldn't help but laugh when reporters told him about it. Allen fired back in good spirits, saying that he's used to sort of quarterbacks taking shots at his height, and that he'll let his arm do the talking on game day. Two has always had mutual respect, even when Baker played for the Browns, so this was all in good fun. More of a comedy buddy moment than a rival roast. We'll go into the Browns, which was Game 9, versus the New York Jets, which I thought they were going to win for the longest time, and they ended up losing. Let me make sure Hunter's not ready for me. I don't think Hunter can make it tonight, by the way, guys. Sorry about that. And make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed the content. Let's go into the Browns. The Browns took on the New York Jets this past Sunday. While it wasn't the prettiest performance, it was an important one. Cleveland came out with a gritty win. I thought we lost. Let me look. Yeah, we lost to the Jets, 27-20. Let me look up stats for you guys. Dylan Gabriel was 17 for 32, 167 yards, 2 TDs. Justin Fields for the Jets was 6 for 11, way less throws, 54 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Judkins had 22 carries for 75 yards. Hall for the Jets had 21 carries for 83 yards. Surprised they were able to squeak that pass. There was a kick return touchdown for the Jets, which is crazy. Punt return for the Jets. That's horrible offense from us. So not surprised by that. Fourth quarter, they had a touchdown and a field goal attempt, so we won't win in that one. The next Browns game. And really, it's interesting because it looked like Dylan Gabriel actually had a good game. 2 touchdowns, just not many yards, and couldn't pull off a win. We play the Ravens this Sunday. This is at 4:25 p.m. Probably going to be a cold one. Let's check out weather for that. Yep, 52 high, 35 low. Not the bad worst. Saturday it's going to be raining. And we'll probably lose to the Ravens. The Browns are 2-7. The Ravens are 4-5. I wonder if Lamar Jackson's still hurt, though. He practices, and the eyes start for the Browns. That's probably a good game for Lamar to get easy warm-ups in. Don't forget, we have the F1 results from last weekend below. We'll talk about it here in a little bit, but let's go into the standings. Drivers, Lando's in first. He's about 24 ahead of Oscar Piastri. He's at 390. Oscar's at 366. Lando got 33 in Brazil, and Oscar only got 10. Max Verstappen's in third. He got 20 in Brazil with 131. And George Russell in fourth at 276. Got 18 points in Brazil. Then we have Charles Leclerc at 214. Lewis Hamilton in sixth at 148. Kimi Antonelli in seventh at 122. Alexander Albon in eighth. Nico Hulkenberg in ninth. Isaac Hajar in 10th, Oliver Behrman in 11th, Fernando Alonso in 12th, Carlos Sainz in 13th, Liam Lawson 14th, Lance Stroll 15th, Esteban Ocon 16th, Yuki Tsunoda 17th, Pierre Gasly 18th, Gabriel Bortoleto from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, his home race last week, crashed out, sad to see, no points last week, he's in 19th, Franco Colapinto 20th, Jack Doohan 20th. Both of them have 0 points. Jack Doohan doesn't race anymore. The driver standings, McLaren's still in first at 756. Mercedes in second at 398. Red Bull at third at 366. Ferrari at fourth at 362. Williams at fifth with 111. Racing Bulls in sixth at 82. Aston Martin at seventh with 72. Haas coming back They're in 8th at 70, looking at eyeing up that 7th spot. Sauber in 9th with 62, and Alpine in 10th with 22. Alpine having a horrible year, 22 points. 42 points behind Sauber in 9th. Wow. On next week, which won't be this week, it's a week ahead, excuse me, is Vegas. Excited for it. It's November 20th through the 22nd, Las Vegas Street Circuit. Let's go over times. Free practice 1 will be Thursday, November 20th at 7:30 p.m. Free practice 2, Thursday at 11 p.m. Free practice 3, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Qualifying Friday at 11 late. Race Saturday at 11. Both of these 11 p.m. It's a night race, so they don't mess up traffic too much in Vegas and hurt that capitalism, baby. This is, like I said, a Las Vegas Street Circuit in Nevada. It's a street circuit. A circuit length is 6.116 kilometers. 50 laps for a total distance of 305.775 kilometers. One of the longest and flattest, straightest tracks they have. 17 turns counterclockwise. Established in 2023. They raced. This will be their third race there. Red Bull, I believe, won the last 2. I think it actually says... It doesn't, dang it. So last weekend, Sunday, Lando Norris executed a near-perfect weekend. Pole position, sprint win, and converting that into a main Grand Prix victory. Foreign Press has been further ahead in the championship fight. He's getting clutch, it seems, in the later hours of F1. Gonna take a sip of my drink real quick. Second place was crazy, went to rookie Kimi Antonelli from Mercedes. It was a standout performance for the youngster, holding off a charge to finish ahead of a pack. And he got bumped by Oscar Piastri and hit Charles Leclerc, maybe that's who it was, if I'm not mistaken. And he got bumped off track in turn 1 during a restart, if I'm not mistaken. So he showed that he could really fight for a podium. Max Verstappen made a very strong recovery, starting from the pit lane and picking his way for the field to claim P3. While he didn't win, this type of comeback reminds everyone he's still very much in the mix, and he needed those points. We said he got 20 points last week, when Lando got 33. Oscar only got 10, so he's kind of trying to fight Oscar now. George got 18. Kimi Antonelli got 25. Meanwhile, the other contender, Oscar Piastri, like I said, endured a rougher weekend. He crashed in a sprint and then received a controversial 10-second penalty in the Grand Prix for a collision that affected both Antonelli and Charles Leclerc. I think he deserved it. You can't hit people like that. That dropped him in the 5th after a penalty. The championship picture now. Norris extends his lead, which reshapes the dynamics for the final 3 races. Norris is 24 points clear, like I said before. McLaren's looking very strong right now. Key takeaway. Norris is executing where it matters, like I said, clutch times. Piastri, though talented, is showing cracks under the pressure. Verstappen's recovery underscores that even from a bad start, he has pace to fight back, and we kind of always knew that he's a GOAT. He had a brilliant race there last year in Brazil. In the rain now, so it's kind of harder to come back when it's not raining. Rookie performances, like I said, Andrew Antonelli are becoming more relevant in this final deep. Next race is Vegas, so excited for that. According to the veteran commentator Martin Brundle, the conditions may present a curveball for McLaren and Norris. The cooler night temps and low grip street surface might reduce their advantage. Beyond racing, the event promises big entertainment, style, and glitz. For example, Louis Vuitton is unveiling a bespoke trophy for the event, emphasizing a crossover of F1 and lifestyle. They've been doing a lot for like the Monaco Grand Prix, and I think they do a lot for trophy cases for F1 this year. Can Norris and McLaren adapt to a circuit that might reduce the performance margin, and how will Verstappen and other drivers capitalize on any slip McLaren might gain? Will Oscar Piastri bounce back, and actually do better than Lando for one of these weekends? Or will the weekend just slip away forever for me? Orlando's going to get this championship, which will be amazing to see. Let's go into the NHL real quick after I take a sip of water or White Claw. Let's keep going. Pittsburgh Penguins. And we don't play till Friday, November 14th, tomorrow. Nashville, 2 p.m. We also play Nashville Sunday at 9 a.m. Our last game was last Sunday, November 9th, against the Kings. We lost 3-2. We had a game set last Saturday where we lost 2-1 in a shootout to New Jersey. November 6th, we beat the Capitals, though, 5-3. Awesome to see at home. Last Monday, Toronto lost 4-3. Last Thursday marked something of a turning point for the Penguins, according to reports. What could have triggered a spiral instead becoming a character-building win. The team showed resilience, and there's a growing sentiment that this group is more serious than they might give them credit earlier in the season. I really think it's our coach helping everything out, better rotations with these veterans. Also, the club is prepping for some big moments, internal play, different venues, and international play, and a kind of adversity that could build cohesion. And especially with veterans, international play kind of helps out the veterans. Areas of concern and some trending storylines. Their shootout record remains a sticking point. Winless and free so far, which continues to reflect the past season's issues, and we need those wins. Injuries and roster moves continue to ripple through. For example, forward Flip Helander has been diagnosed with a blood clot. Ew, that sucks. Sorry, buddy. Damn. And expected to miss the list 3 months. The youth movement and how much it's getting leaned on. There are fresh faces, rookies getting looks, and questions about how much the club will push younger players versus a going experience. I think it's smart, something of this new coach we are seeing, that you have these veterans with rookies, and you play rookies a little bit more, but you have these veterans be key pieces. Instead of all being in it with each other, you kind of break them off, spread them out a little bit more. Goalie depth is under the microscope, with injuries among some of them. Emerging prospect Sergei Marzolov is getting closer to his NHL duty, which is cool to see. Penguins have momentum. They've executed a meaningful win at a key juncture, which suggests some maturity, but for the positive, vulnerabilities remain, shootouts, injuries, and how the younger players handle pressure. The next stretch of games will be crucial for Penguins, whether the team builds on the good stuff or whether old patterns resurface. Keep an eye for how they handle the unusual settings, travel, international venues, since those are the moments of the roster depth and character will be tested. And finally, the balance of experience and youth is still being worked out with our new coach. How the veterans lead, how the rookies respond, and how the coaches deploy that lineup. These will matter a lot. For Blue Jackets, let's go over Blue Jackets since last Thursday. They lost to the Calgary last Wednesday, the 5th, 5-1. They lost Saturday to Vancouver 4-3. They won Monday, though, versus Edmonton 5-4 in overtime, which is cool to see. Edmonton always does well. They went 7-7, and now they are 8-7. And let me go back and let you know the Penguins record. Penguins are 9-5. Sorry about that. Going back to the Blue Jackets. They they lost against Edmonton 5-4. I don't know why I said they won. In overtime now. Seattle, they won in a shootout on Tuesday, 2-1 in the shootout. The next game's Thursday against Edmonton, then they play Saturday against New York. Since last Thursday, the Blue Jackets had a bit of a roller coaster ride. They went on a rough patch. The team had dropped multiple games, including a 4-3 loss to Vancouver Canucks in a game they gave them a big early deficit. Then they caught a break and snapped a 4-game losing streak by beating the Seattle Kraken in a 2-1 shootout, like I talked about in that game. Charlie Cole scored the shootout winner. Kirill Monchenko also scored in a shootout for Columbus. The goaltender Jack Greaves made 22 saves and stopped 3 out of 4 shootout attempts, which is great to see, as the latest record stands approximately 8-7-1, placing the mid-pack in the Metropolitan Division. Now let's go over Cavs. Cavs had some weird play. I believe they won yesterday against Miami. Whooped on them. Let me get that final score for you. Yesterday, the Cavs beat the Heat 130-116. However, we lost to the Heat Monday, 140-138 in overtime. Sorry about that. Then we also beat Chicago last Saturday, 128-122, and we beat Washington last Friday, 148-115. Currently, they are 8-4, and they're currently actually down 5 points to the Raptors. Raptors are beating us 90-85 at the end of the third. I'm going to take a quick break before I talk about the Cavs, and that's pretty much it for the night, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. You watch all of it, that'd be great. Drop a like. Take us a quick sip of water. So I want to also see if Edmonton Oilers and Penguins are actually playing right now, too. I'm going to put that on. Columbus is up 3-2 against Edmonton. Since last Thursday, the Cavs have been riding a roller coaster. Kind of like the last guys. They suffered a gut-wrenching 140-138 overtime loss from Miami Heat, which made it sting even more. After a strong start, they fell apart in key moments. For example, they jumped out to a big lead and allowed Miami to chip away and ultimately steal it with a buzzer-beating alley-oop to Andrew Wiggins, even though he played for Miami. Also in that game, star players had strong individual numbers, like Evan Mobley recording a double-double, and the team's misses in overtime and free throws shooting cost them. On the injury front, key guard Darius Garland sustained a contusion on his surgery-repaired left big toe, which forced him out of the Miami game and possibly beyond. Other notable roster changes of shuffles. With Garland out and other rest decisions, the lineup may shift. Players like Sam Morrill are seeing bigger roles despite the loss. The Cavs are 7-4 for the season and second in the Central Division. The team is capable of being explosive. The offense is showing up, big scoring nights, leading stretches, but the problem continues to be consistency. Maintaining leads, closing the games, and avoiding mental lapses. See the Miami game. They had everything to win, but then they let it slip. Injuries and rest are starting to weigh. Losing Garland, even if it's temporary, means the guard position gets thinner. Fewer options, more pressure on the other guys. Depth becomes a way bigger issue. The supporting cast is gaining importance. Like I said, Morrow's emergence during the stretch is something to keep an eye on. When stars are off the court, others must step up. The mental game element is important. Along with that to Miami. Should be tough like a warning sign. I am happy to be able to win again now. And we're at 8-4 right now, not 7-4. That was because of yesterday. Hopefully the help for Dalen Garland isn't a long-term thing. I always love him and how our three-point shooting. We need to be better at closing games. It's nice to see role players step up. Dean Wade and others. Same with Sam Morrill. Defensive and transition control. The Miami game exposed some lapses. Even if the core shows up defensively, especially late games, they'll be more reliable. Schedule and division context. They have a home game coming up against the Toronto Raptors and the Memphis Grizzlies. Big opportunity to build momentum and settle in. Some quick changes I found in sports. There's a big college sports rule change. One of the most tense and grabbing stories right now is in college sports. Donald Trump has publicly called for sweeping reforms to the governing rules to the NCAA, particularly around athlete compensation and how landscape has changed since NIL, name, image, and likeness deals became permitted. Schools for the 2025 and 2026 academic year now operate under a salary cap framework of $20.5 million per school in athlete compensation. Trump argument, the current trajectory could lead to NFL-level payrolls in college football and putting pressure on less revenue sports, smaller schools, and raising financial sustainability concerns. This has implications beyond money, governance, competitive balance, collegiate sports identity, and how student athletes is defined going forward. It matters because of financial and regulatory agricultural college athletes is shifting. This could impact recruiting, team composition. Ohio might not be good anymore. Conference power, and even the closures of cutbacks or non-revenue sports. Fans and media attentions are turning to how universities, conferences, and governing bodies respond, whether they push for more caps, more transparency, or open floodgates further. For professionals and amateurs alike, the amateurism model is under a strain. This might accelerate changes in transfers, scholarships, and athletes' branding and transferability. I kind of think we should allow them to make money, especially because colleges are making money off of them. Having a cap would make sense. $20 million, I feel like, is kind of low, especially for Ohio State and these SEC schools. I'm pretty sure we had $24 million when we won the chip, but it may have been more than that. Sports betting mobile app surge. Another headline that keeps popping up: the rapid growth of legal mobile sporting bets apps in the United States. The recent deep dives into the best sporting betting apps highlights just how much this market. Leading apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars Sportsbook, so many since this became legal. If the applications go farther beyond casual bettors, leagues, teams, and media rights, holders are increasingly looking at how betting partnerships drive engagement, viewership, sponsorships, and data analytics. Betting is no longer fringe; it's a core part of a fan experience. We see it everywhere on ads. If you're at the game, they tell you to bet. They tell you how to bet. They have places to bet sometimes now. This growth comes regulatory risks, state-by-state licenses, consumer protection problems, gambling awareness are on play. For sport content creators and marketers, the betting app ties in more people content, more prop bet conversations, and shifts in how performance and statistics are leveraged. Pro leagues are also pro league businesses and schedule dynamics beyond these two due to several trending items. For major leagues, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL are continuing to explore global expansion, alternate venues, and scheduling tweaks. Leagues like the NHL and NFL have been flagging in business and industry coverage for adjusting media, streaming, and international games and fan engagement models. And that's really it for me, guys. I don't want to be too long. I kind of want to be in half an hour, a little short from half an hour. If you have any questions, I really appreciate you watching. Drop a like on YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't. Ring that bell below me. It notifies you whenever I go live. We'll be here Sunday with Healthy Living Show if Trevor can make it. If not, we'll be here Monday at 8:30. Hope everyone has a great night, Ohio. One more day. Friday, we're almost there. Bye.